new generation is rising, an inevitable force primed to lay claim to what is theirs. This is Young Guns. Dawn breaks on a serene midsummer morning. The steady flow of the meandering St. Joseph River is a calming soundtrack for early rising anglers. But the scene is a stark contrast to the poetic chaos of TORC off-road racing. The watery gurgle is slowly drowned out by snarling V8 engines, ready for a wake-up call of their own. For most of the year, Buchanan, Michigan serves as a quiet blue-collar town, best known as Tree City, USA, but otherwise going about its business with little fanfare. However, just a few miles outside of town lies Redbud MX, home to the largest professional outdoor motocross race in the country and a mecca for dirt racing fanatics each 4th of July weekend. The TORC series has been here before, racing on a modified portion of the famed motocross track, but took a hiatus from the venue following the 2013 season. With renewed interest and collaboration between Redbud and TORC, a brand new short course track has been carved into the hillside, giving off-road racing a place to create new history. A return to the legendary dirt of Redbud has been on the minds of many, and now as a reality, the anticipation is high.
It's just awesome. I mean, this place has just got so much history. It's like Crandon, but it's the Crandon of motocross when you say Redbud. This is the coolest place to come.
I love the fact that they got a new track out here. They got a bunch of space out here to build it. This is where I won my first race, and there's memory of that.
Everybody's equal coming into this. Nobody has an advantage or nothing, so it's whoever can adapt fastest and they come on top.
At this critical stage in the TORC season, the unknown elements of a fresh track could make all the difference in deciding points championships. For many youngsters, a dirt bike or quad is what opens the door to a whole new world of race fuel and competition. For those who build a career out of it, Redbud MX is the holy grail of racetracks, a place to be loved and feared at the same time, with a magnetic draw and an atmosphere like none other. TORC Pro Light racer Cam Reimers is one with plenty of history on this dirt, having raced the professional ATV circuit for many years prior to making the jump to TORC racing in 2013.
2013 was the first year I hopped in an off-road truck. We came here, came out and got my first podium my rookie year here. So there's just something about this place, comfortable being here, it just feels like home.
The adjustment to truck racing has been a challenge all its own for Cam, attempting to adapt tried and true methods from his previous racing experience, but also learning the ins and outs of an unfamiliar vehicle.
One of the biggest parts of coming from moto to this was, we always tested, we worked on bike setup, everything in the ATV motocross days. But at the end of the day, if you missed setup, you could just ride through it, right? You maybe not have been comfortable, but you could ride through it. One of the things I was humbled by immediately getting into a truck was you can't drive something that doesn't work well. You've got to really hone all your settings in every weekend and put in the time and collect data every time you're on the track. And that's one of the things I think I overlooked quite a bit. But the evolution, even the last 5 years since I've been here, everyone's just stepped their game up so much that they'd all look back on themselves and go, wow, this has changed. We're putting the Pro Lights through all the abuse they can take. That's not a lot of suspension travel, and the speeds that we're carrying and what we're able to do, and even as good as the trucks work anymore, is really surprising. The sport's really going through a big evolution stage within the last few seasons, so it's pretty cool to see.
Despite experiencing his share of ups and downs across his first 5 seasons in Pro Light, Cam has brought a professional mentality to the table and built his program into one to keep an eye on.
I was never the spot in ATV motocross. I had a good career, but I wasn't the top dog. I wasn't any of that, but I still had the hunger to go be the guy somewhere. I've got a good inner circle that can continue to walk with us year after year and be one of those top dog sort of teams.
The volatility of TORC racing has been in full effect for Cam so far this season, combining a recent podium in Bark River with a melted engine, as well as a DNF the following round, his first in 31 races. Despite it all, Reimers is not out of the hunt for the championship, and the destroyed engine revealed a cylinder defect that had plagued him all season, drastically reducing his horsepower. With a new bullet in the number 21, Cam is confident and ready to put the pressure on the powerhouse climbing team.
They've got momentum on their side, that's for sure. I don't know who's going to stop it. I'm ready to step up to the plate and do that. I think we've got the ability to do that. Sunday looked like that was going to happen. You know, we were going to put the streak away for the two Kleiman brothers. I like both of them, but it's one of those things that I think they're the same way when they strap the helmets on. You know, they bring their friends to the track, I bring my friends to the track. We don't need to make any on the track. So we're going to do what we can at every event to try to stop that momentum. Because I think if we could get a little bit on our side, we can run right there with those guys, if not be better.
With a solid starting position after taking top qualifier for round 9 staggered land rush start, Cam avoids the turn 1 carnage and tucks into second place behind Andrew Carlson. The track is rough, and with both Kleimans behind him, Reimers knows he can't afford to make any mistakes.
I tried to barrel in there for the whole shot. I knew that the passing would be tough, and I knew it would be fast enough to get away. Unfortunately, Carlson got me right in turn 1, and that was pretty much a race. I was able to pressure him, but he had kind of half the track dialed. I had the other half the track dialed, and we'd meet front bumper to rear bumper once a lap, but I wasn't just quite ever there to make it happen. But us two were pretty well gone from the rest of the field. Even the small mistakes we would make, we're able to, you know, still leave the third place truck. So overall, great day. Really fun track. Maybe a couple close calls, but it was really fun.
The second place finish is reassurance of the direction their team is headed. The hope is always that consistent hard work will pay off, but it takes real results to build towards a championship run. The essential ingredient that drives every successful athlete is competition. To challenge adversaries and come out victorious is a thirst that cannot be quenched outside of the battlefield. When an unknown factor enters the arena and threatens the established order, there can only be one response: war. Capturing the championship points lead in round 7 was a checkmark on the to-do list for Luke Johnson, but the day's results were not as satisfying as expected. Losing the rookie Pro 2 driver Andrew Carlson in his first race was enough to light an even bigger fire under Luke to prove who belongs in the top spot. Rivalries are not created overnight, but the history between these two drivers is enough to wonder about what could be brewing.
And rolling over again is Johnson.
And Carlson just drives right through him. So these guys are bumping and banging, and now he goes right back after him. So we're going to see some stuff going on between these two.
An early pass for the lead in round 8, followed by more mechanical troubles for Brad Lovell, gave Johnson the perfect opportunity to solidify his place at the front of the Pro 2 pack. His convincing win and extended points lead was enough to soothe the burn of shortcomings the previous day. But the early speed of Carlson in Pro 2 will definitely make things interesting going forward.
We're all here to win, so no one's going to let anyone get in their way of that, and I have to act the same way. Inherently, it's not my driving style to be overly aggressive, take people out. I'm not going to put myself in the position to do that, but I need to be better at when I see an opening. I got to be close enough to take it, and you have to come with that I see red mentality, because if there's an opening and you even think about should I go in there, it's too late.
You see out in front Andrew Carlson. Now they're staggered going inside to out, but there's a second row as well. Yellow's fine. When he throws that green up, it'll be time to go. Time to go for everybody, but Andrew's got a good jump.
Outside, tight to the inside up here.
Andrew Carlson's prime starting position gives him the edge in turn 1. He takes the inside line and runs out to an early lead. His extra track time between two classes is clearly paying off, and with each passing lap he extends his lead all the way to the midway caution. Luke has been patient up to this point, comfortably sitting in second place. But with Brad Lovell sneaking up through the field, Luke knows he must put the pressure on Carlson to fight for a win.
Let's do this. Go, go.
Carlson's on in that acceleration zone. It's up to Luke Johnson to get by. Brad Lovell's worked his way from 8th into 3rd. Don't count him out.
Andrew again jumps out ahead quickly, but Luke steadily claws back, closing the gap with fast lap times. As they roar downhill towards a rutted sandy corner, Luke sees an open door.
Continue inside. Right alongside you, still right alongside you. Hold on to it. Drive him deep in this corner if he wants to be like that. There you go. He's there. Luke. Okay, you're clear.
Aggressive racing leads to consequences, and Luke Johnson is again on the losing end. Brad Lovell gets by, leaving Luke scrambling to stay in third place and minimize the damage done to his points lead.
It's going to be Andrew Carlson's day. Everything worked out, led wire to wire. I think Luke Johnson stuck a nose in there for 1 second, but Andrew Carlson taking the sweep.
What happened there? I couldn't see because you were behind that big hill. Yeah, he just turned into me and drove over my hood.
After what some would call a racing incident, he is lucky to come away with a podium, but it is clear the two drivers aren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah, you know, the trucks are both clean. This one's got a little bit of a bang on the side, like someone got into me there. I don't know what happened, but yeah, just a fun race. Little not as happy that they had to get into me that hard.
Good job, Luke. Head up. Thanks, boys. Thanks for the support. You gave me a rocket ship. Sorry we got our stuff done.
I have nothing to lose. I'm going for wins, and he's going for a championship. So, you know, I'm glad to be in the position I am. No pressure on me. Just going to have fun.
Always one to wear his heart on his sleeve. The true test for Luke will be whether he can put emotions aside and maintain a single-minded focus on the ultimate goal. The heavy hitters in the Pro 4 class are as close as they have been all season following Bark River. Rookie Keegan Kincaid has had the speed to win, but a few small mishaps have kept him off the top step.
I feel really good going into the second half of the season, and the first half was kind of survival for me and learning the truck, learning myself and what the truck is capable of, and we're just progressing each time we hit the track. You know, we haven't had any test time on this truck, so it's just learning when we get here and trying to adapt fast, and that's what my team's been good at. And we've had some great battles the last couple of rounds, and just a little bit unfortunate luck with some window net and some tire stuff, but other than that, we've been really close, and look forward to getting on that top spot soon enough.
Keegan's definitely stepped up his game, and you can tell every weekend he's getting more comfortable with the truck. He's getting a little faster. They're figuring out, how to tune it a little bit faster for each weekend, and he's right there. Lap time wise, the last couple races, he's been turning some of the faster laps.
A grief sweep at Bark River in rounds 7 and 8 looks like the usual domination when seen on paper, but the reality was much different. Former TORC regular Chad Hoard made an appearance at his hometown track and came out strong, challenging for podiums and narrowly missing a win due to a mistake in the final few laps of round 8. Keegan Kincaid was the fastest truck on the track all weekend, but a power steering failure on day 1, followed by a window net malfunction on day 2, while closing in on the lead were enough to set him back. Similarly, the Greaves duo was far from perfect. A blown engine in practice, followed by an early tangle with Chad Hoard, and a slam into a wall in round 7 nearly did major damage to CJ, but somehow catastrophe was avoided. Johnny shredded a tire late in round 8, dropping him off the podium and conceding points to both Keegan and CJ. The results were chaotic and far from ideal for any of the championship contenders. But minimizing bad days is the only way to stay in the hunt. With more than a couple potential victories slipping out of his grasp, the pressure is on Keegan to put it all together, not only to get a win for his team, but also to prove himself as a worthy adversary to the best in the sport.
As everybody looks to be buckled up and things are preparing to go for this race, the big thing is who gets the start. Ross Hook on the left. That means he's on the inside. A good run with a good start. My buddy's on Ross Hook.
A slippery start makes it difficult for anyone to gain the upper hand, but savvy veterans Scott Douglas and Johnny Greaves managed to find their way through the gritty mess and into the lead. Deciphering racing lines on an unfamiliar track in variable conditions is a difficult task, and Keegan struggles slightly to find his groove in the opening laps.
Row 1, get the inside. There you go, better on the bottom.
Johnny and Scott put their wealth of racing knowledge to good use, maneuvering through the difficult terrain as they lead the ravenous Pro 4 field. However, a miscalculation by Johnny as he takes a wide line into a treacherous sandy corner causes him to rotate too early and nose into a tire barrier.
Oh, keep going, get around him, Good job.
The new leader does not last long as mechanical trouble hits Scott Douglas on the following lap.
Scott Douglas moving off the side now. CJ Greaves moving to the inside.
CJ takes over the lead, and what's wrong with Scott? He's not able to turn that truck.
With 2 positions handed to him, Keegan sits comfortably in second place, but knows that an angry Johnny Greaves is not who he wants behind him.
Brakes, I'm seeing it really bad right now. You can put a little more front in because it seems like you have to drive so deep. My pedal's like really free. But do what you can do. If you got to downshift it, try to get as much as you can in the front. You're going to be going green. Let's do her. See what you can get out of her.
Pushing hard on the restart, the freight train of lead trucks run wild through the massive holes and ruts in the Redbud hillside. Stuck between the 2 Greaves, Keegan leans hard on CJ, hoping for a mistake.
+5 on Johnny. Come on, keep pushing CJ.
Keegan with a really strong run through the sand pit, gained about 2 car lengths, and now we see smoke coming from CJ Greaves.
Go! Something must be wrong with him. Get going. Clear.
And that is a new leader. CJ Greaves drops back.
Keegan needs only to stay smooth and hope that his truck holds together long enough to cross the finish line in first. In typical Johnny Greaves fashion, he holds it wide and drives on the ragged edge to try to close the gap on Keegan.
Smooth on it here, be smooth. You're +3 right now. You're +3. You can slow down early in this corner. Be good. Perfect. Just drive to the drive to the win, buddy. Nice job.
Keegan Kincaid coming off his best finish of 2017, a second in Bark River, and his first win here at Redbud.
The weight lifted from his shoulders is immense. Victories are what every racer strives for, but it means infinitely more when it can justify the trials and tribulations of a season. The Kincaid team fought through many setbacks to get here, but proved that they have the tools to compete with the best. Confidence is critical in consistently reaching the top step, and with his victory, Keegan is ready for all comers. Next time on Young Guns. The relief of capturing his first career victory in Pro 4 has unleashed the beast in Keegan Kincaid. But he is not the only Pro 4 driver getting the kinks worked out. The clashes are getting wild, and the largest crowd of the year will get to see it firsthand when TORC returns to the Big House in Crandon. The ultra-competitive Pro Light field is turning the screws on points leader Kyle Kleiman after he missed out on the podium in round 9. Will he crack under the pressure in the chase for the crown, or will he reaffirm his dominance of the 2017 season? Questions remain as we enter the final stretch of these championship quests, and resolution is only found through more dirt-shredding chaos. This is Young Guns. Brought to you by AmSoil.